Okay. A very warm good afternoon, students. So today we will discuss the question answers of the lesson 2 dear. In our previous two videos, we have already discussed the story of the lesson. Probably in this class, we will have a new perspective of some aspects of the lesson. Now, as you can see, the most important thing here, students, 2 dear, when we hear the title or when we read the title, we get a feeling the story is about someone who is too dear, you love someone, or one particular character really dotes on someone else in his or her life. It can be a family member, a friend, or someone like that. But contrary to all our expectations, in this lesson, what is too dear? In this lesson, money is too dear, okay, to the king and probably to many people in the kingdom of Monaco, okay, and that is why the title is ironical. And after reading the lesson, we come to know when they say too dear, what are they talking about? Okay, now as you can see, students, money is an important part of our lives, but for when on account of money, when things like principles, ethics, morality, values and virtues go for a toss, then it's a matter of great concern. Okay, so don't allow money to rule your life, just like it happens in the kingdom of Monaco. Okay, so that is about the title. So let us start with one-line questions, which will, where we see some intricate aspects of the lesson. The first question, where did the kingdom of Monaco lie? The kingdom of Monaco was near the borders of France and Italy. Next one, what was the population of the kingdom of Monaco? So, yes, it was only 7,000. You can imagine, only 7,000 people lived in Monaco. How many soldiers were there in Monaco kingdom? Only 60 men. So, they had an army, okay, but the army comprised of only 60 men. Okay, name one of the commodities taxed in Monaco. So you can name any one of these. There was a tax on tobacco, wine, spirit. Now, the king, he used to justify, when, as you all know, gambling was allowed in Monaco. So many a times he would argue that even tobacco is a vice, consuming tobacco is a vice. Wine and spirit are also like, negative things. So when we allow that, why not allow gambling? So all this was there. Tobacco was allowed, wine was allowed, of course, and they also had taxes on. They had poll tax, for the taxes that are collected for elections, and of course taxes on spirits. Okay, what was a special source of revenue for the king? Now, here students, when we say special source, that means the major source of his income. And that was through the answer is gaming houses, and the another answer is roulette. Now you all must have seen in many films and all, students, that roulette is like a gambling game, where you have a round thing that keeps on moving in circles, and people bet on some number, and I believe if it stops at that particular number, then you win. That is how I believe it operates. So you can either write gaming houses or roulette. Okay, now why did the Germans stop gaming houses? As we discuss this aspect, students, because it destroyed people, it ruined them, it harmed them, and many a times people lost their lives. Okay, and this is what I have heard one of my friends who had been to Malaysia, and she told me this, that the hotel that they were staying in, the basement of the hotel, there was a casino. Okay, now they were staying in the room. So when they entered the room, they saw the windows of that room were very small, like they had very narrow kind of windows. So she was surprised by that, and when she asked them that why do you all have such small windows, And the answer given to her was, they told her that, the casino, like a gambling den or a gaming house, people who stake money there, and many a times they lost everything. They lost all their wealth, their property, the money that they had borrowed from someone. So such people, many a times they came to one of the rooms on the top floor and they jumped from there. So it was a multi-story building, like a 40-50 floors. So many a times it was, people used to kill themselves. So the people, it is trained students, they did not close the casinos, they made smaller windows, okay, that is how it was. Okay, next one. Why did the Germans stop gaming houses? So we just discussed that, because it harmed people. Next one, who remained with a monopoly of gaming house? Monopoly, that means someone who had an authority there, someone who gained through it, and it was of course the King of Monaco. Next one, what happened in the Kingdom of Monaco a few years ago? And the answer was, a murder was committed. Now, Monaco is referred to as a toy kingdom, students. Please understand, because it's a very small kingdom. The land area of that kingdom is small. The population is sparse. They have a small army. So that is why it's like they refer to it as a toy kingdom. Okay. Now, the question is, what happened in the toy kingdom of Monaco a few years ago? As you know, students, the population is very small, and people were generally peace-loving. So the crime rate there was also nil, negligible, or very small. So something like, when a murder was committed, definitely it grabbed a lot of attention. It is something, a matter to discuss. So similarly, students, a murder was committed, something probably that had never happened before. So a murder was committed. What was the punishment given to the murderer? You can say death sentence. You can say capital punishment. Both mean the same thing. Next one. What was the hitch in carrying out the death sentence? Hitch means, students, what was the problem? Okay, hitch, H-I-T-C-H. That means, what was the difficulty or problem that came their way in carrying the death sentence? That means, as I told you all, they had declared the punishment that the criminal has to be put to death. How do they put him to death? By using a guillotine. Guillotine, I told you students, it's a machine that beheads the criminal. But the problem here, the hitch, the problem, that the barrier that they had or they faced was that they did not have a guillotine or an executioner. Executioner is that man who operates the guillotine. Okay. Now, next one, students. How much did the French government expect for a machine and an expert? So we know, students, 16,000 francs. It's FRANCS. Then how much did the Italian government expect for a machine and an expert? It is 12,000 francs. Death sentence was converted into, yes, what is the answer? It's life imprisonment. Why did the king appoint a guard? Okay, so we know a guard was appointed to watch the criminal. Okay. Why couldn't the soldiers undertake the job of killing the criminal? Okay, they were not trained for the job. That is the answer that's given here. But I believe, students, because many a times we view a job, with some jobs we consider them as very respectable kind of job, okay. But some job, we deride it. We consider it's some kind of, there is a lot of disgrace in that job, okay. But students, it's at the end of the day, it's all about dignity of labor. Whenever a man is working to earn money, respect him. So that is the basic idea. Now here, what was the punishment given? Death sentence. Now they needed an executioner. Now, as you know, students, operating a guillotine is not something that needs a lot of training or skill. I believe mainly the soldiers rejected that or declined because they considered it below their dignity. Now, in India also, students, we have capital punishment, and the hangman, the person who pulls the lever, he is referred to as a hangman. Now, you can imagine, students, if someone tells you that some particular man is a hangman, I don't think many of us would want to interact with him or have some kind of friendship or relation with him, because we already have that notion in our mind. Oh, he's a hangman. He must be very hard-hearted. He must be cruel or something like that. He can take people's life. We do not look at it as a job. He is not taking somebody's life for his own personal gains or for his own, for his own revenge. He is doing his job. But then there are students, the judge who has given the capital punishment or he is declared hang him to death, we respect him. But the man who actually implements what the judge has pronounced is someone who we don't respect. That is how it is. So naturally students, a soldier's job has definitely a lot of shades of nationality, as I told you, patriotism. We respect soldiers and we should. But in the army also, when soldiers fight, they kill each other, but then students, that we believe is for the nation. But here students, when a hangman kills someone, we believe he's a very hard-hearted man. We do not respect him. Okay, so that is how it is. So some years ago, students, I read a play about the title of the play was The New Hangman, which discussed this aspect where a hangman is speaking about what you can say, the problems of his life, and he says that nobody wants to talk to me, no girl wants to marry me, everybody views me as this hard-hearted savage, but at the end of the day, why doesn't someone just think that I'm doing my job? When you can respect the cops, when you can respect the judges or the advocates, who argue and finally decide the punishment. Why is it that who comes lowest in that ladder is always treated with contempt? This is what the play is all about. So here also somewhere that aspect comes to the fore, where you can see the soldiers, it's not that they cannot do it, but they decline because, as I told your students, this is a job which is not a very respectable one. I believe students, maybe these are jobs which people take more out of desperation. It's not a job taken by choice. Yes, okay, maybe. So whatever. So we are told the soldiers refused, they declined, they said no. Why was the guard dismissed? To avoid the new expense, or naturally students, they had appointed a guard, and within a year only they dismissed him, because firstly we know students, they were spending a lot of money on him, on his income, on his wages, and secondly students, they thought that if they dismiss the guard, the criminal will run away, he will escape, so they can save money. That was the main reason. Next one is, what was the only way to get rid of the criminal? And that is students, to offer him pension, which we also discussed, that finally they knew that if they really wanted him to leave the prison, I told you the criminal was a very smart man, and he knew how to make the most of a situation. He knew their weakness and he wanted to convert that weakness into his strength. Okay, if he would have just escaped on his own accord, or he would have left the prison very easily, probably he wouldn't have got anything. Moreover, the king would have flaunted and said, see, I'm such a large-hearted man, I've forgiven this criminal and sent him out. But contrary to that, students, the criminal now knows that whatever these people do, it's not out of any great concern for me, or not that they want to give me a chance in life. It is for their own selfish interest. It is to save money. So he is making the most of the situation. Next one. Okay, on what what according to the council, who according to the council of ministers was a brother monarch, that is the king of Italy. That means students, the king of Italy and the king of Monaco, they were good, maybe they had a very good relation, they were close, so that is why he is referred to as a brother monarch. Not really that he is his biological brother, they were so close, like they were like brothers maybe. Okay, next. Though gambling is a dirty business, why does the king of Monaco resort to it? Now we saw students, although it's a small kingdom, they have its, the king was someone who believed in ruling and reigning in a very ostentatious way. He wanted everything fancy. He did not want anything to be done in a simple way. So they had an army, they had the courtiers, they had a bishop, head of the church. Then they had all the ceremonies like coronation, they had levees when guests, foreign dignitaries used to come, you know, they were treated in a very regal way. So all this, they need money. So that is why the king knew that what he is doing is wrong. It's dirty. Gambling is a dirty business because it ruins people, it destroys people. And as I told your students, for many people, this is the attitude to have, or probably this is a reflection of the general attitude of society towards money and those who have made money. Students, there are so many people who are scoundrels, who we know have committed the biggest scams and who have committed so many crimes. But we respect them only because they are rich. Okay, the means does not matter. How they made the money, that is irrelevant. The fact, the end matters, that today they are well-to-do, today they are affluent, and today they are rich. That's why we give them respect. So similarly, your students, the king's attitude is also a reflection. That means it's also an extension of that. He knows that it's a dirty business. Yes, people will be ruined, people will be destroyed, but his belief is at the end of it, we will make a lot of money. So better ignore these things. And that is why, students, so the answer you see, he ruled in a rather, you can say in a grand way, okay, where although it's a small kingdom of 7,000, they had an army, they had a bishop, you know, they had several ceremonies. So they had all the things which larger kingdoms have, and to maintain all that, they needed money. Of course, they had taxes on tobacco, wine, spirit, and poll tax, but that was not adequate. The main source of their income was gaming house. And as you know, students, France and Italy had abolished gaming houses in their kingdom because they realized that it destroyed people, it ruined them, it doomed them. But the fact that they had abolished gambling in their kingdom was an added advantage to the king of Monaco. That is because the people from Italy and France would also flock to Monaco to gamble. Okay, so that was like an advantage to the king of Monaco. Then why did the king of Monaco keep changing his mind in dealing with the criminal? Now this answer, students, it starts by, you know, naturally we will generally speak about the lesson in the first paragraph, that Studia speaks about a king, you know, who believed money was the most important thing in life and everything else did not matter. And then you can start, you know, when a murder is committed in the kingdom and, you know, when the death sentence was pronounced, but they did not have a guillotine and an executioner. So they went to France. France said, yes, you can borrow it for 16,000 francs. Then they went to Italy. Italy said, yes, you can borrow it for 12,000 francs. And the king did not believe in wasting so much money over a scoundrel, over a, someone, an anti-social element like this. So that is why, you know, he decided to change it to life imprisonment. And after that also, students, from life imprisonment also they were, they were not contented there also. That is, the things did not end there, because they realized that they were spending a lot of money on the upkeep of the criminal and the guard. So they wanted the criminal to just go scot-free, and that's why they gave him a pension. Okay, the next one. The next question is, what were the arguments put forth by the prisoner for not going out of prison? Now please understand, students, many a times even the Constitution of India says that whenever a punishment is awarded to a person, it's not to torture him, or it's not like a sadistic kind of thing there. It is, the main reason is to make the person regret, okay, what he has done. Okay, to feel sorry about what he did and realize, and then redeem himself. The criminal must reform himself. That means when he is sent to prison and he spends all those years in captivity, after he comes out, he must realize, no, now this should not happen in my life. I should lead a life as an honest, sincere man. So that is the main reason. So criminal should regret. Now in this lesson, you see, students, the criminal does not regret anything. In fact, students, he starts scolding them. He starts behaving in a high-handed way. Yes, he says, yeah, it's all your mistake, as if, he has not committed any crime or he has not done any mistake at all. That is how he talks to them. So, you know, as we discussed this also, students, he says that why didn't you all give me take my life, and then why did you all dismiss the guard? You know, the number of inconveniences I had to face because of you. And now if I go out, people will turn their backs to me, people will reject me, who will give me a job, what am I to do? Yes, how am I to look after myself? And then they realize that they have to, you know, the only way out is, that is, they have to give him a pension. Okay, so that is how it is. So next question is, how did the criminal lead his life after his release? And you know, we students, we know that he got a pension of 600 francs, and he received 1/3 of it in advance, and he settled just across the border and bought a bit of land, and he did market gardening. Yes, and of course he went you know, very punctually. He went to collect his pension. Okay, and we also gambled 2 or 3 francs and returned home. So he led a peaceful life. So his life was one about peace. There was enough entertainment also, and of course nothing to worry. As I told your students, when you punish someone, it's not punishing one person. The punishment should also be a deterrent. Yes, should discourage all these people who are thick-skinned, who are selfish, who are criminals. That is, it should instill that fear in them that if we commit the crime, we will also meet the same fate. We will also be imprisoned. We will also have to pay with our life. But if you all see, students, in this case, what kind of a message the king of Monaco was giving the people of his kingdom. Okay. Then the last one, you can't earn stone palace by honest labor. In what context is this statement made? I told you, students, if you ask me, the entire story is built on that phrase. Yes, you can't earn stone palace. That is, the king, he allowed gambling because he believed that if you have to really make money in life, you know, you have to become reckless, you have to become hard-hearted, yes, you have to become selfish, right, and all other things should be put in the back burner. In the case of criminal also, students, as we discussed, the criminal also earned stone palace. That means, students, the criminal also earned 600 francs. But did he earn it by honest labor? No, he earned it by committing a murder. Okay, so that is why you can see at this time, a criminal showed the king what is the real meaning of that phrase. And of course, students, as I discussed earlier also, the king was this time the victim of his own belief. Okay, so that is a lesson 2, dear students. Maybe in the coming classes we may visit it again and discuss some more aspects of the lesson. So much for today, students. Take care, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.